Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So two things. One, I didn't feel like this episode was really that good at all. Um, and in some scenes was good. It had some good moments. Other scenes seemed completely just pointless, and it just kind of seemed like a chore to get through. And I felt like this episode, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. And funny enough, I wound up recording this the first time, and I felt like the review was just bad. And I'm like, is one of those things like, is the review bad or was this episode just like kind of blah? And I kind of realized that the episode was just kind of blah. There's a lot of characters that's doing a lot of back and forth, so I feel like I'm gonna probably miss some characters. So if I do, or miss some characters talking to other characters, so if I do, I apologize. Um, Again, this episode was just blah. Let's get to some of the blah part. So you got Finn and Anna talking about like Finn is asked, well, Anna's asking, are you seeing Liz? How's that going? Like they're talking about their significant others, their potential other people that they're maybe dating to kind of move on from each other. And I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of just like, why does this scene need to exist for? You got Anna Smith there asking Finn about, Liz and are they a thing and stuff like that. And, Finn is like, he's not sure because, like he doesn't want to rush things and it's kind of up to Liz and when she's ready to move on. And I'm not gonna lie, just watching their scenes, like watching Finn and Liz, like what is going on with these two? I felt like there was progress that was made like a couple months ago, at least with the whole bingo night thing, and now it's just reverting back. So it's hard for me to get invested into whatever relationship that they got going on when you got Liz, and granted, we're going to get to the Liz part, Liz with Drew, and Drew's not there asking, are you like ready to move on? Are you seeing someone and stuff like that? And Liz kind of gives the back and forth answer, and because they talk about Franco and Drew, and just her answer just seems to be very unclear. And it's, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, why is this still a thing? Um, and I here's the thing, I partly get it because between Franco's death and Jason's death and the kids and stuff like that, and just trying to keep busy and not just wallowing sorrow and stuff like that, it's a lot to process. So to some extent, I understand where Liz is coming from, but at the same time, when she gave Drew the I don't know answer, it's like, how long are we gonna have to sit there and deal with this for? Don't get me wrong, it's always great seeing Drew. It's always great seeing Cameron. Every time he's in a scene, it's just great. And how even with Drew Smith there talking to Cameron, it was a nice scene. It they have some nice moments in this episode, but like some of the stuff just doesn't seem like it really goes anywhere. Like when Victor was not there talking to Ava, it didn't really seem like it went anywhere. It really didn't. Ava just kind of had the looks of kick rocks, and Victor was just like, "Nope, I'm just gonna hang out with you. We're family, and I just want to spend time with you, even though that you clearly don't want me here." And that's literally what he does in the scene in Charlie's. He's just hanging out and talking and like, I mean, he talked about Hayden and what Victor might have done to Hayden, and we're still just like, all right, when is that gonna like resolve itself? Like, I guess never. Awesome, another scene that just goes completely nowhere. I mean, just another storyline that just goes nowhere. It just reminds me of Days with the whole Hope thing, and I understand the reasons and the logistics, the stuff behind it, but it's just like, are we actually gonna do something with this whole Hayden story? And the reason why I was not just saying that is because towards the end, um, when Violet's not there talking to Finn, and Violet's like, they're looking at the tree, and Violet's like, do you think that mommy can see it? And you got Finn's like, oh, I don't know yet. Like, I don't know. I'm not too sure. And I'm just like, we're never gonna, are we actually gonna get to a point where we do something about this whole Hayden scene? Are we gonna wait another year or something? Like, what's going on? So, Lucy. There's a point where Martin Gray steps in as Santa, and Kevin, switch places so this way he can spend some time with Laura for a little bit. There's one point after, Martin, gets through the last of the kids or whatever, and Lucy comes in and she sits down on Santa's lap, which she still thinks is Kevin, and is all like, well, guess what I want for Christmas, or something like that. And I'm like, Lucy, what the hell is wrong with you? And granted, yeah, she does find out that it is Martin and not Kevin, but I'm like, on what planet did you think that what you just did right there was appropriate or okay whatsoever? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really understand why she did that for her, and I don't know if I ever will. Um, anyway, Martin Gray asks her out on a date, and she says yeah. So I don't know if that's gonna be a thing or something. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Um, yeah. Valentine comes over to the Q's house to see Brooklyn with New Charlotte, and I call her New Charlotte because she is New Charlotte, to drop off a present for Bailey. Now, with that being said, Brooklyn is already feeling bad because at some point she's going to have to give back, the baby back to Maxie. And on top of that, seeing what she did to Charlotte as far as the whole switcheroo thing, and Valentine, she's feeling pretty guilty. There was one point where Brooklyn's like, I did it for the shares, but I did it for something else. And it seems like, when Valentine's like, if you did it because, the baby had a dangerous father, whatever, I would understand, like, what's going on. It almost seems like Brooklyn was going to tell Valentine the truth, but of course, Charlotte came back and kind of interrupted them, and they left, so, just leaves Brooklyn feeling more guilty. At some point, Drew comes by, and they're talking, and she's still feeling guilty, and it looks like she's about to tear up and start crying. Brooklyn decides to bring some champagne that, was a gift from Monica, even though she doesn't drink. So she's like, all right, listen, let's just cheer it up or whatever. They start drinking it and realizing that it's non-alcoholic. And I guess it was kind of funny because Brooklyn was like, Yuri really doesn't know Monica because Monica doesn't drink anymore. Turns out that he does because, the drink was non-alcoholic. So, yeah. I don't know. It was nice in the again seeing Drew, but their scenes didn't really go anywhere except for the only thing that it really showed was just how much of a sacrifice that Brooklyn's making, between feeling guilty about what she's doing to Charlotte and Valentine and everyone coming down on her and knowing that she has to go with the child. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, it is nice to sit there and see the toll that it's taking on her. Now, Laura does fill in Kevin on Cyrus and him finding God and stuff like that, and not being the person responsible for, the attempt on their lives. And it almost seemed like she might actually believe what Cyrus was saying, or at least, at the very least, admits that Cyrus was, pretty convincing. Now, Irene, I think that's her name, Irene or Eileen, was overhearing their conversation and called up Victor and was like, oh, just let you know, she's going to be going to the tree lighting. And I'm just like, why did you need to call him to tell him that? She's the mayor. Like, I'm pretty sure he would already know that. So I didn't really understand what the call was about, but okay, sure. Hell, even the little argument that Spencer had with Nicholas, I couldn't tell if it just felt flat or it just felt repetitive because they've been doing this for so long now. I mean, Nicholas is there talking to Trina, um, trying to get her advice on what kind of gift, to present to her. And, Trina was like, since you're giving out gifts and stuff like that, why don't you give out the gift of forgiveness or something along those lines, just try to patch things up with Spencer. And Spencer saw Nicholas talking to Trina. It was like, oh, you talking about me? Like, what's going on? And, they got into their usual squabble, whatever. Now, towards the end of the episode, Victor was meant to tell Spencer, hey, just let I kind of got a little fix for your legal troubles. But when he tells Spencer that, you know, on top of restitution and doing community service, he has to spend 30 days in Spring Ridge. And Spencer looks like he's about to have a heart attack or like throw up. And I'm like, bro, that jail is practically Club Med. And he's literally sitting there asking, Laura, like, oh, you're the mayor. Can't you do anything? Can't you do anything to help me out? I'm like, bro, are you kidding me right now? Your aunt was literally at that place at a spa practically, which is where you're going, and the alternative is to go to Pentonville, and you are acting like you are going to Pentonville, and you're not. Like well, I guess that's what happens when you're privileged. So, yeah. Anna wants to spend some time with Valentine, and Charlotte. They meet up at the Metro Court, and Anna's like, do you want to go to the Christmas lighting? But given everything that happened with Valentine and Bailey and everything like that, they're like, we're just not really in the mood. And at first, it looks like Anna's about to sit there and leave, but after having a conversation with Finn about them dancing around and this, that, and the third, and will they or won't they? She decides to spend some time with them and have dinner and stuff like that to try to give their relationship a go. So, okay, that was nice, I guess. I mean, if you're rooting for them, if you're rooting for their couple, whatever, it seems like they're at least trying to go somewhere, as opposed to Finn and Liz, which is just like, oh, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Because this is annoying at this point. Now, I did like the conversation between Cameron and Liz because, Cameron was talking about going to the Christmas lighting and stuff like that, and Liz was like, I'm going to be on call, so I can't go. But, Cam pretty much was like, was worried about, Liz and stuff like that. And, Liz is like, you need to go out and live your life and be happy and stuff like that. This is, like you should have a good time and whatever. But, Cam is like, you kind of got to live by example. Aiden and Jake are already sad, and you haven't really been doing anything except for working and just kind of staying home. Like, you need to kind of, if you want to kind of lift the boys' spirits, you got to kind of lead by example. Um, so Liz, was like, she'll think about it or whatever. And maybe we'll see her in the next episode because, you got Finn and Violet there. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I did this review before. I already said that. Anyway, so I guess we'll just wait and see. Hmm. You know, with these episodes and these soap operas, sometimes like I get that there's not going to be like a major action scene or a major drama scene or a major dramatic scene, but I felt like with this episode, besides Spencer and Nicholas arguing, and it was just kind of repetitive because they've been doing that for a while. What was this? What was in this episode that was just so great? Like it wasn't super dramatic. Nothing crazy happened. Um, I didn't again as much as I am loving the new Drew and Cameron being there. Like his talk with Liz was just like, all right. They talked about Franco. They talked about Jason and Drew feeling kind of guilty. But besides that, what did they really talk about they talked about Finn and how she doesn't know if she's ready to move on. Um, Nothing really dramatic there. Same thing with Finn and Anna. Nothing really dramatic there. Nothing really happened in this episode that was like, oh, this was so great, or it was so funny that I could sit there and make a joke about. And it was just like, no, this just kind of fell flat. It didn't really, nothing really happened. And even with tomorrow's episode with like Sean being in there, it's like, can you just give this man something to do? Like seriously, just give him something to do, some sort of drama or dramatic scene or something like that. Make him useful. I mean, he's been gone for so long, and he comes back and he's hanging out with Alexis, which is great. If they're actually gonna like do something, and they're gonna get in a relationship. Like, what is going on? I feel like he's being so underused since he's been back. Same thing with Jax, to be honest. But I don't know. I feel like I'm missing so much stuff, but at the same time, it's like, what really happened in this episode? I mean, yeah, Esmer was there, talked to Trina, acted like your usual self. Like, nothing that I can think of that was super interesting that really happened. Here's the thing. If I missed something that was really interesting or something that everyone really liked, please tell me in the comment section below, because I don't know. And the thing is, I didn't actually have a bad day. It was actually a good day. It's not like I'm just super tired, just like this episode, just like blah. But then again, that's just me. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I'm actually glad that I recorded this the second time, because the first one was just like, it was like I was trying to find something that was super positive in the episode, and it was like, nope. And then of course the tablet died because it's a piece of crap. So, yay. But I still like using it sometimes because I can put like interesting thumbnails and stuff. But I don't know. I guess it was kind of a sign. So yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. See you in the next video.